And we have to unlearn those things. We have to decolonize our minds when it comes to our spirit selves and who we really are. You know, because a lot of us have gifts, and the suppressing of those gifts can also create anxiety, because there's this ball of energy inside of you that just needs to be released and expressed and recognized.
Right.
Some of us have denied pieces of ourselves. Jesus.
Right. In the name of Jesus. If I do this, I know I will be excommunicated from my family. I will be excommunicated from my church, and nobody will like me. There I go again, right? But that was how I felt, because I was always telling people what I was seeing or what I was sensing or what I was feeling. And everybody was like, you're a weird ass little girl. I'm like, but I'm just being myself, you know, like, I don't know how to be anything else. Like, let's vibe. Like, who wants to listen to music and sing a song and do some cartwheels? Does anybody want to do that?
Absolutely. I was raised to learn how to use it, but to keep it to myself. I was raised to protect myself, so I don't have to see things I don't want to see, because, right, I'm a child, so I don't want to get freaked out because I'm seeing a freaking angel with all these faces all over and eyeballs on their arms. Right? But, you know, it was okay when I needed to use it. You know, there was a time I have a little sister, and my mom never let us go with anybody, but we were going to the same place, and my little sister wanted to ride with one of her friends from church. From church to like Applebee's or something so we could eat.
Yeah.
Cool. We get there before them, and my mom is freaking out.
Because she thought maybe something happened.
Maybe something happened. Chikara, I need you to tell me where your sister is.
So that's like a double edge.
Okay. I can tell you that, you know, the lady Miss Wanda took another route.
Yeah.
And they'll be here soon. So it's okay. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
I couldn't have been any older than like 11.
I mean, that's good, because she helped you to use your gifts, but also you sort of felt like it was only for that purpose.
Exactly. It's only for when us in the family, you know what I mean? Like, well, what did Granddad say about it?
Yeah.
You know, type stuff. But out in public, like, don't say, you know what I mean? That like he's walking with us right now.
Right.
Like, leave that part out.
You know, I try to be an open mom, because my little girl has like whatever when you start talking about what you experienced as a kid, that's like where she is. She has several friends who be with her all the time. And of course, my first thought was, okay, so she's schizophrenic. But then I was like, no, she is gifted. So I need to allow her to have those friends, but like, I don't really know how to help her to polish it at all, you know, especially because I'm just coming into my own understanding of my own gifts, which I guess I'm grateful that I don't have that, because I would be like, you need to get out of my damn room. But she's like super open to it. Like, she has her friends. I'll be letting her talk to them, and they have their conversations or whatever. So I'm like, okay. But one thing I will say is that there's somebody who she said makes her act out, or will insist that she do, you know, the stuff that will get her in trouble. So I was like, is there not a way that you can have this person be kind to you? Because really that's not
nice for her.
Yeah.
So, pro tip. I offer guidance on this for parents too, because a lot of times kids see stuff, right?
Yeah.
In the top left drawer. So what I was taught to do, and this is something that I also have my mentees. She's showing you she has a toy.
Oh my girl.
What I have my mentees do, what I call mind fortress work. And what that does is it creates a safe place in our minds where we can go and they can't go. Right? It's a place they are not invited to, and it also inspires the confidence, because like you said, I would be like, get out of my room.
Yeah.
I was taught to say, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I was taught to say that, and taught to say it with the authority and understanding that, and confidence that a lot of times only children have. Knowing that they're going to leave when I say it.
Yeah.
I'm not asking. I understand that when I say, leave me alone, they will go.
Yeah.
Right? I was also taught the same thing we teach our kids about consent.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about my gift.
Yeah.
Don't just let anybody come up and talk to you. If you don't want to talk, if you don't want to be bothered, if you don't want them around you, say no, go away, and clap your hands.
Mm. Okay. That's
powerful. Go away. And for me, because I was little, my safe place, I created like a castle and a fortress based on the way Mr. Rogers, the little castle with the little puppets, based on how, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I knew, right?
Yeah.
And as I've grown to an adult, I have a whole compound with islands and a navy and the whole thing where I fight from. My ancestors are invited. They have their own room, though. Don't just come talking to me anytime.
Right.
For them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm a mom. She's breastfeeding now. When I'm asleep, please let me sleep and talk to me when we all up.
Yeah.
Right? Those basic things I learned as a child.
Okay.
So you can let her know that she can say stop.
Yeah.
At first, it feels like you can't control it. It feels like they just be there. But empower her.
Okay.
But if they try to tell you to do something, I'm your mother. They're not your mommy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm mommy. Right? Yeah. And you know mommy loves you. Yes, I know mommy loves me, right?
Right.
So you can tell them, mommy is saying right now that you can tell them no.
Yeah, absolutely. Because also she will not really want to be alone by herself. Because I guess she's feeling like that's when she has the most of this experience. And we all need that peace time. So I want to help her get to a place where she can have her solo time and it can be peaceful for her and not like an attack.
Okay, so here's the other thing. And this is silly, but it works for kids, right? So when I would feel overwhelmed, my mom, Ghostbusters, right? I was born in 86. Ghostbusters had come out not too long, before. I was probably 4 or 5 at the time, maybe. But we would play Ghostbusters because I was seeing freaking spirits, right? So my mom would run off. We had a tiny apartment in LA. Run off, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters, save me, save me. I had a toy blow dryer that when you press the button, it would, right, just probably like a little wheel in there, right? They would make a noise. But that was my gun to get them away from me.
Yeah.
So my mom would say, child, go get your ghost gun.
Okay.
Go get it. And you point that at them and you tell them to go away. So she might be a tool.
Well, I just bought her a little pop gun. She said it's a little orange gun. So look at the synchronicity.
That's right. Tell her, bust at them.
Okay?
Yeah. But in a real way, for a kid, sometimes we need something else because we see, characters and stuff like that have special things, right? I would get my little stuff and you leave now and I mean it.
Yeah.
Right? And that was it. They would get away from me for real. And so my mom would say, get your gun and then go into your castle.
Yeah.
And then go on your castle and they can't follow you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you let her
create that safe space because shit, I'm still trying to create my own safe space. So I'm like,
That's adults now. That's why I teach it to adults now. I'm like, as a kid, as an adult, draw it out. What do you see? Show me on your picture how if somebody tried to get in your castle and you didn't want them to come, what would you do? I ended up full of dragons and, all kind of crazy stuff to defend us. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because after a certain point, you have to understand that you have to fight sometimes in the world, especially raising little Black children.
Yeah.
You're going to fight sometimes, baby.
Yeah.
And we're not violent, but we do need to protect ourselves and understand how to defend ourselves when necessary. And it's the same thing spiritually.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is, so first I want to say thank you for that. I really appreciate and receive everything that you said. And I'm feeling so warm, and I really, really appreciate that, because I absolutely need it in my life. And I want to be able to offer to my daughter some kind of support, and not having the solid foundation from, she definitely tries, but she's super Christian. So when I share with her things, she's like, she doesn't always know what to say to me except for, well, in the Bible, or God says, and I'm like, but that is God on the paper. What is God saying? You know what I'm saying? Tell me that. So
yeah.
But that leads me to talk about the next topic, which is toxic positivity. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I know I've seen you before kind of rail against that, and I definitely agree. So I want to hear you drop some gems on the topic.
When it comes to toxic positivity, it's the anti-shadow work. You know, it's the polar opposite of facing your shit, right? It's not about, oh, well, if I stay positive and praise God enough, everything will go away. That's not why prayer works. Prayer works. Prayer absolutely works. All right. We pray, honey, but we also have to do the work. You can't just say, I'm happy, I'm happy. If you're not fucking happy, you're not happy. You're depressed, you're anxious, you feel a ways, you're traumatized, you have PTSD, whatever the case may be. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Because you have to be able to heal the wound. There's no way we would bust our ass and, have a wound and ignore it. I'm not wounded. I don't need to go to the hospital. Whole time you leaking. No, we would get up and go to the damn hospital and get sewn up, or whatever the case may be. The same thing when you have a brain or a heart or an emotional wound. You have to recognize it before you can heal it. How can you heal if you acting like you don't see it? That doesn't make any sense. There's such a thing as also self-defense.
Yeah.
Okay? Somebody's being racist towards you. Somebody is disrespecting your child or your marriage or whatever the case may be. You as a person, you don't love and like that away.
Right.
So that they know that it's okay to do it again, because you're just going to smile and say, oh, it's fine. No, you look like a fucking clown. Absolutely not. I am not Jesus. Try him, not me. Like the homie said, right?
No.
We're not doing that. Sometimes you need to cuss Karen the fuck on out. Okay? And going about your business. Exercise that throat chakra. Say what you need to say. All right? And when you through saying it, go on and go. We're not saying beat her up, because, unless you put her hands on you.
Right. And then you must fight back.
I mean, you have to defend yourself.
Right.
And that is not considered light work. But then that brings me back to duality and understanding as a root worker that everything has a cycle. It's light work for me.
You got the teaching you required.
I'm not defending myself and making myself safe is not dark work.
Thank you.
What you did to upset the balance is what was quote unquote wrong thing.
Exactly.
I'm putting balance by putting your stupid ass in your place. All right. That's not wrong. We are valuable. And when you value yourself, you understand that there are certain things that you will not allow. Period. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you're angry. Is the electrified fence angry, or does it just exist? And are you wrong for crossing it?
Yes.
Like, which one is it really? You're not going to hop up in the lion's cage and start doing a jig in front of him when he's hungry, right? So what you trying me for?
I mean, and that's the thing, is like we need to just stop that, especially as Black women, because we have this from the church: turn the other cheek, do not get angry, do not change your vibration. Because I know that's, for me, that's like one of the things. It's like, okay, well, I want to keep my vibration and I want to be able to attract my things. But when it comes to setting that boundary, you cannot come over here with that. Like, I had an incident where we got to the grocery store and parked in this spot, which, granted, I'm not pregnant. So we parked in the pregnant person spot for like 5 minutes. But before we could even get out the car, here comes Karen asking dude, when is your baby due? She hadn't even seen me yet. I could have been huge. So I jumped out and I was just like, you didn't even ask me if I was pregnant. You need to get your white ass the fuck back. And I like, she didn't even have an opportunity to say hello to me. Like, it was like a, you remember that Hadouken? It was instant, like, get back. Because I'm just not tolerating that. And I don't want to feel bad about it. Because I feel like I did feel heavy about it. I was like, oh, I should have been more at peace. But fuck that. You know, like, especially at that time, that was like right after, it was like 3 weeks after George Floyd. So everything was so like this and so heavy. And so many white people were feeling so entitled and empowered and full of their racism. And I was like, this white bitch wouldn't have even come over here if all this wasn't happening. She's fighting against change. She is oppression. Get her ass. That was it for me. It's like, you know, if we're saying that we are here to do this work and to restore the balance, that means that you are at war. So when people bring that energy to you, then that is your responsibility to use your sword. So like, I'm just one who's like, you absolutely must have a sword and a shield out here. You cannot just be out here with the shield. Like, you absolutely be able to judge somebody if you have to. Like, that is how battle works.
It is how it works. And you know, experiencing oppression and fighting against oppression is not the same as being petty for no reason. You know what I mean? Defending yourself means that you have to acknowledge that you were attacked. Yes. Somebody doing something stupid online or, you know, whatever is not a reason for you to even care, right? That's something to really respond to. But in a real situation, when you actually are being threatened, you absolutely have a right to retaliate. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong with that toxic, you know, that toxic positivity. Like, oh, well, I'm not going to do any left-hand work. I'm not going to hex because ciao bye.
Okay.
And the example that I like to give is slavery, right? If Massa is raping the slave and slave hexes him, who did bad?
Right.
Is the hex good for the slave? Absolutely.
Right.
If Massa die, good for her.
Right.
That was good work.
Right. But if you can't rape her again.
Right. But it's bad for him who upset the balance and committed the crime.
Right.
See, we not just, you know, and you know, in the group, we're not finna talk about hexing your baby daddy.
Right. We're not gonna do that.
we're not
like,
doing
right
that.
There, you just need to be like, I'm gonna leave you. That's enough work. Right there.
Right.
Like,
right. That's plenty, right? Is getting free from that situation, which is, you know, easier said than done in a lot of cases, but we're still not going to hex a person when you can block them.
Right.
Right. But assault, oppression, things like that. Absolutely, we got something for your ass. 100%. Right. I mean, yes, we do.
Because that's really the thing. It's like, people will be like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait for God to handle it. Well, what are you taking to the altar for the assistance? You know, like, there's, at some level, you are doing that work too by praying for that deliverance. So be cognizant of everything and just be open to understanding how it really works. Like, the pendulum going to swing both ways. So if somebody comes to you like this and you say, please, 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 I need help, at some point something might take place to help you. And absolutely, it could be that person has to be removed from your life, and maybe they don't die, but they might not be able to hurt you again. And so you think that if it's coming from outside God, it is okay. And
yeah, it's important to understand our roots as well. Okay, our people would go to church and worship, you know, especially during slavery and sharecropper, because people forget that slavery went on for a long time. So our people went from naming saints after the Orisha in order to maintain our practice under the white gaze, to some actually just believing in Christianity because things evolve, right? Cultures change, word of mouth, things like that, they change, right? So we ended up believing in Christianity fully, okay? But there was still the root worker.